Hi, and welcome to Retirement with Jim. Today, I'm going to talk about where do you want to retire to? Have you given any thought about where, or if you're just going to stay where you're at? So, it's perfect time to talk about, especially with the situation in Florida, the hurricanes, kind of a double hit in less than 2 weeks. And all the devastation that has brought makes it a perfect time to talk about what used to be was considered the ideal place to retire to isn't so ideal anymore. Um, when I was younger, I wanted to retire to Florida. That was where I planned on retiring to. Now, not really. Obviously, I have retired, but I changed my thoughts and my plans. When I turned 45, I decided I wanted to leave the Chicago area and the cold and the snow, and figured I'm going to get a jump on retirement and live in a retirement area where it's nice and it's enjoyable weather and get an early start on it, even though I wasn't retiring yet. Um, so taking a look, so I ended up retiring in Arizona, in the Phoenix area. It's funny, they call Florida the Sunshine State, but Florida has 230 to 250 days of sunshine every year. Arizona has 300 to 330 days. So we kind of beat out Florida when it comes to the sunshine. Now, I'll give you, Florida certainly has, beautiful scenery in terms of the ocean. It looks, so much like paradise. It's a great place to be. But with the recent look at the hurricanes and how the weather has changed, you kind of want to balance it out. So the pros and the cons. So the pros for Arizona, it's number 12th on the list for the lowest property taxes. Not bad. Florida is number 26, so nowhere near it. Halfway up the group. If I'm going to take a moment, if you like my content, please hit the like and subscribe and the share button. If you would like to leave comments, I love to hear from you. I make every effort to answer all the comments that I can. So with that, that'll help my channel grow. So, okay, back to the pros and the cons. The the cons, especially for Florida now, have become that it is not just the hurricanes that go through there, but you're also going to have a difficult time getting homeowners insurance. The insurance rates have gone through the roof in Florida. In some places, they're not even offering insurance. So, unless you want to buy a piece of property that you are willing to own and not have any insurance on, which is a huge risk. I don't know too many people that do that. Excuse me. So when you look at the last hurricane, and Helene is a good example. It started down in the Gulf of Mexico, and then it went up north, and it went through Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and all the devastation it brought there. It makes some of the southeastern states not so appealing, and certainly something that you have to give a lot of consideration to. I chose Arizona because I wanted a dry, warm climate. Arizona also allowed me to still have, the four seasons if I so desired. You can go up north to Flagstaff, which is about a little less than 2 hours away, and you can still get snow up in the mountains there if you like the winter. There are a couple other snow resorts, Snowball out east. So there's plenty of places that you can still enjoy the winter weather if you like the winter weather. You are also only about a 6-hour drive to the West Coast. So if you want to enjoy the ocean, you can drive to like Huntington Beach, for instance, or Newport Beach, someplace that's really nice, and enjoy the ocean and that environment. But Arizona offers not just a great tax break in terms of your property taxes. It's a great location for in winter. You're looking at 70 to 80 degrees on a regular basis. Now, one of the of course most important con to Arizona is the heat. Now, the heat is not bad when you are looking at anything under 100. And 100 sounds like, oh my God, 100 degrees, I'm going to melt. But without humidity, 90 feels more like 80. It really does. It's a 10 to anywhere between 10 to 15 degree difference. So it's a whole lot more enjoyable than you think. Now, granted, once it does get hot and it gets to triple digits, 110 and beyond, now you're talking, you need to seek some shelter and some shade, stay in the pool. Yeah, you got to really take a look at where you are at. The one thing I've learned over time, of course, is that you stay hydrated. You drink water all the time, which is good for you. It's a lot more healthy. Wear a hat, use sunscreen, because the sun can be quite brutal. But there are plenty of things to do outdoors, just like there are things to do outdoors in Florida. You just have to be smart about it and take the weather into account. So it is one of those things that but from a financial standpoint, I think more and more people are fleeing Florida because of the weather and what's the onset of hurricanes and the insurance and the property taxes are now headed towards. So Arizona is like I said, number 11 on the list. Florida, number 26. They don't compare when it comes to financials. You start looking at financial outlook, there's all the problems with people would buy condos. And then with the condos, they are now, after the collapse of the Champlain Towers, that caused a lot of changes in the laws down there, and people are getting hit with all kinds of assessments on their condos. And that's causing people to take a good hard look and go, I can't afford, these increases, and I can't afford the increase in the assessments to bring their buildings up to code. Many buildings are, quite old, and that's just the way that is. But you know what? I love Arizona. I got the chance to come out here, when I was 45, and never regretted it. I think it was a great decision to retire to a place that, and I went there early. So one thing to think about as you're like where you're retiring. Are you going to stay put? Maybe you're just going to stay put where you're at. Maybe you like, your home is paid off and you don't really want to leave that area, family, friends. There's plenty of reasons to stay. But plenty of people especially from the north and northwest, say, yeah, it's time to do away with the cold. And from a health standpoint, it is certainly a lot nicer and easier on your health when you're trying to retire to some place that gives you much joy and enjoyment and gives you some warm weather. You get older, things don't work as well on you, they hurt a bit. The heat does wonders for that. So just food for thought to think about. There are plenty of financial implications as to where you retire to, whether you stay put or you move. The Southeast is not looking as appealing as it once did. And I live in the Southwest, and I'm telling you, the Southwest is wonderful. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree or you disagree. And I then will call this a day, and I will see you in the next one.